Today we're going to dive into our Degen portfolio, what this might look like as things line up. You guys don't want to miss this one. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into the show. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. If you want to get into self-custody, this is where you can start to park some of these tokens, put it in your own self-custody wallet. The way you do that is visit tangem.com. Get the 3-card set when you do that. It's like a little credit card, works with your phone, very easy to set up, super secure, and it will start you on your self-custody journey, so check it out. All right, so what we're going to show you guys here is a full Degen portfolio, as well as a performance of a previous one that we showed you guys a few weeks back, and give you kind of a view of this from the highest market cap to the lowest market cap. So, and then at the end, we'll show you what we're buying, all that good stuff. So stick around for all of that. Let's get into the first point, and that is small caps. And if you think about everybody that is in mostly Mag 7, because that's where most of the gains have been made over the past few years, what they're going to look at is start this rotation into other small cap stocks. And of course, that's what we're experiencing right now. And that, I think, is where we're going to see this Degen portfolio start to play out. Now, I want to go to a clip real quick that will get you into why small caps are pumping. Take a look.
Well, if you're having a good August, you've had a miserable decade. I guess that's what you can say, John. But the laggards, those stocks have seen some increased attention in August, and they've outperformed. And that kind of rotation is healthy to see in the market. It indicates, like you said, a broadening of the rally. You can't just have the same names going up and up and up nonstop. You have to have some changing of the guard, so to speak, over time.
Yeah, but that worries me a little, Paul, in that, I mean, if there's some bargain bin rating happening here, people just maybe buying some stuff that hasn't performed too well because it's cheap on hopes that it'll do better. I mean, might that be a reason why this small cap rally won't last?
When the Fed cut rates last fall, we saw long-term rates go up, which was very negative for small caps. The Fed hasn't cut rates yet, but just the signal of rate cuts didn't push the long end of the curve higher. That's a positive signal for the market. I think if you see a subdued reaction to NVIDIA, that would be more positive for the broadening out rally.
All right, so watching NVIDIA right now, they're going to be coming in today as we record this. And I do want to kind of go back and look at what we talked about before in terms of our Degen list before. We had a panic buy video that we did. These were altcoins that were underrated. And that was about, what was that, 12 days ago. And then a month ago, we did our Degen altcoin portfolio. We'll show you how those performed, give you guys some insights on that. I want to move over to the first ecosystem, and that's going to be, of course, Solana. This is going to be a very good potential for what we're going to see in terms of growth. One of the big ones to watch right here is, and this again back in the Solana ecosystem, Jupiter. And Jupiter, of course, is now getting their Jupiter Lend. This is a public beta, but it is going live. We're going to see lending within the ecosystem. That'll be a big deal. Remember that a lot of people have been pointing at that $300 target for Solana. Solana now on a breakout. These tokens were bought yesterday. So to give you guys some comparison of how this market may play out, and remember how we're holding this, and we'll kind of talk about our strategy toward the end, is really looking at picking the right time to exit and circle out of certain projects. One of the other things you got to look at is institutional yield. This is going to be coming to Solana. You're going to see this right here coming in September. And with that being the case, the wallets that are correlated to Solana are also going to get some expansion. Of course, you'll see this in Phantom, Step Finance, Moonshot, etc. MetaMask now allowing wallet creation and also restoration of those wallets via Apple and Google. So that, I think, will start to bring in people that have never been here. They haven't looked at self-custody wallets, even this being a hot wallet. But the comparison is they're going to have a lot more access to this. So get ready, because meme season will be part of this. And I think this will get and make it to where an average person will be able to gain access to these meme tokens. If you look at that right now, this is why I think Solana's in the right spot. They're in the number 2 slot right now. I anticipate this will flip Tron and will become the most profitable chain again in terms of overall. And of course, that will be driven by a lot of what's happening within meme. Now, let's move over to the Polygon ecosystem. And the reason I want to do that is because of what's happening right now within that ecosystem. Poly market, of course, highly tied now to what's going on with the Trump family, where 1789 Capital now has a strategic investment within Poly market. This is going to launch in the United States. That'll be an absolute barn burner, because of when that token goes live, That in itself will start to generate, I think, a lot of opportunity within Polymarket and also just in general Polygon, because remember, Polygon, 79% of prediction markets now powered by Polygon. Polygon is the play here, guys. So it's one that you've got to keep an eye on. Maybe you're not in it, and this has been a token that has been suppressed for quite some time. Maybe now is the time for a huge opportunity. I think timing-wise with everything else that's happening is perfect. And another reason for that is when you look at prediction markets, this was something that Vitalik was talking about. And what he said is that prediction markets fail as hedging tools without yield. If we get yield on prediction markets, this is going to go nuts in terms of opportunity. All of that has to play into what is happening in DC, and that is getting the market structure bill through. And it's likely that that could happen this fall. And if all this happens before the holiday season, that'll tie into gaming and some other things I'll talk about here in a second. So you'll understand kind of where we're going. Now, Optimism is the next one. There's some big reasons for Optimism that I want to focus on. One of them is when you look at the fees by themselves, Optimism, let me kind of zoom in on that for you guys. You can kind of see Optimism, the least expensive out there in terms of L2s. This is a big deal. And also remember, we showcased Optimism and the tie into where Japan is going in on Sonium, which is DeFi play. Optimism wins that. Arbitrum is, of course, setting right there in that position as well. And also a fraction of the market cap of Polygon, number 68. Look at the difference here in the overall in comparison to what it could and will flip. I believe this one gets very heated and on the way up the charts. All right, so let me go over into the Flow ecosystem, and I want to play a clip for you. This is Masari talking about the Flow ecosystem. Take a look.
Let's look at the chart of the day. A Q2 report from Masari on the Flow blockchain shows a remarkable surge. The growth is attributed to new stablecoin activity, which saw its supply on Flow jump by over 200%. The report also highlights a massive spike in smart contract deployments. This all comes as major brands, including Disney, continue to build on the network. The partnership with Disney Plus offered digital collectibles to 50 million subscribers, marking it as one of the largest Web3 onboarding events.
Q2 setting records, Forte's upgrade. This is going to make it, even more interesting going forward. So Flow is in the right spot. And remember, there are some vault opportunities as well. Look at, you kind of see if you're not staking or putting your Flow in a vault. Here's a good one right here with more markets, earning ridiculous amounts. And this APY actually was as high as 200+% at one time. So you guys can, let me zoom in on that for you right there, EVM on Flow. To give you an example of how you can also be earning with Flow tokens there. Let's jump over to PENGU now. And remember, we had Luca Netz on the show, what was it, about a week ago. And he actually had some very interesting things to say. A lot of it was drilling in on the fact he thinks that PENGU is going to flip Doge and become the #1 meme token out there. And Luca and I think we both agree, he agrees on it, I agree with him, is that there's a lot of opportunity there. I think it's Luca is who you bet on. So PENGU, I think, wins in general. And then also, don't forget, the Pudgy Party game is launching this week. So this is happening Friday. This will also get launched with Mythical behind it. Remember Mythical and Cathie Wood's Mythos is in that portfolio. I'll show you about why Myth is going to be a big part of this. Now, when you look at Myth in general, if you just look over here at Black Hole, this is getting into some pretty crazy yields in terms of an opportunity here. Also, remember again, Pudgy Party running on Mythos, and then you get into the whole scenario where Cathie Wood starts to play in behind this investment in terms of Mythos in general. That is a huge opportunity for Mythos as a whole. And here's the Mythos chart, just to give you guys a look at this. This thing is depleted, guys. So this, if there is a 10Xer, this might be it. Now, granted, all of this, not financial advice. What I want you to do is go out and do your research. And all of these tokens may not make sense to you, but some of them, maybe they will fit into your portfolio. You go do your research, find out which ones match up for you, and then boom, you've maybe got a winner here going forward. Let's go into how AI agents actually may be a play on stable coins. And this is MAMO, a good example of smart money, easy on the nerves, because this is a problem in vaults. And being able to really use DeFi at its maximum level is most people don't have the patience, the trust, all that. This is why I think AI agents are going to play into this. MAMO, of course, is going to be able to do this. It'll do everything, including, and I'll show you a tweet real quick. I've got this kind of zoomed in, but the reason I want to show you that is you can do everything from check balance, deposit, view APY, get support, all that helpful inside the Coinbase app. So this, again, all rolling out at a pretty opportunistic time, and that is around how these vaults play into this. And I think more vaults are going to be coming and more yields. And remember, as interest rates fall from the Fed, people are going to say, wait a minute, I'm getting less and less interest on my money market. What can I do with that? I'm going to go buy USDC. Once I buy USDC, where can I place it? Place it in the vaults, earn better yield. That's why these are going to be a big play going forward. This is a clip of the MAMO CEO talking about why it is so unique. Take a look.
So MAMO is your personal finance agent. It's designed to just help anyone earn the best possible rates on Base. The first personal finance agent that never takes custody of funds. It's very safe. It's built on top of Morpho and also Moonwell core markets. And then you can withdraw at any time. You might not really understand how to evaluate which DeFi markets or vaults are safe. It's so intimidating, though, to get into. And so MAMO just simplifies that. I believe we're the only DeFi agent that is, or finance agent that has an audited smart contract system. You know, it's going to be so easy for people to use once Base app goes live.
That's the key right there, guys. Once the Base app goes live, we do get it out there. You're going to see, I think, a pretty big growth. If you look at MAMO over on Dex Screener, you can kind of see this is holding a market cap of only 53 million right now. And there's an opportunity here. Now, granted, it's straight up, but this is just beginning. And I think vaults are going to be maybe the next generation of where DeFi is really going to maximize, because the opportunity is so huge for the amount of money that is sitting on the sidelines. And remember, money market, this is the potential for this. So just understand where money markets are. And even only if a fraction starts to move in this, that could be huge. Also remember, MAMO running on virtuals. This is something we've talked about for a while. There are some opportunities here. Virtuals might still be a play that would be equal to what's going on within at least the AI agent side of things, because there's going to be a winner out of here that's going to happen in the vault space. Here was Matt Hogan kind of hitting it out of the park in the sense of just simply saying, hey, yeah, guess who's going to win? I think stablecoins just win because of the fact that everybody's starting to look at these standard APY rates coming in from your banks. And as APY comes off the money market, they're going to be looking at those same charts. They're saying, wait a minute, I used to earn 5, now I'm earning 4, now all of a sudden it's 3, then 2, then boom. You're going to see the kind of growth in these vaults that are going to be absolute crazy. All right, so let's go into phygital indexes. In case you don't know, phygital, physical, digital, this is the idea of collectibles translating to a digital asset that you can trade on the open market. Pretty simple, and it's happening much more than you think. What was interesting here is this tweet by Matt Bartlett. He says, these comments are exactly why I wrote this blog, how younger generations are redefining wealth through crypto and collectibles. And then you had this comment from, guess who? None other than the biggest degen of all, I think, is Kevin O'Leary. And what he's talking about is the opportunity around collection. And this is going to happen on things like Courtyard, BZ, we've talked about here. The two tokens to watch here, though, are ZARD and DPIN. So be on the lookout for both of these. Digital indexes are going to be taking off, and I think we're going to start to see rewards that will play into this as well. Here's a good example. Red Capital saying, hey, I just added another million ZARD to the Red Cap portfolio. This was after, I think after maybe even our video that we did the other day on this. Here's Charizard Capital. This is how the community gets behind these. This is just an example of how they're going to be awarding tokens to be eligible. I know this sounds a little crazy, but the point is these collectible projects are going to be maybe this next run going forward. And don't forget, you got Disney in the mix here with DPIN. This is all part of the Disney Mythical collection. That is also starting to grow. So again, we're watching DPIN as a potential as well. All right, so let's get into gaming season and why it matters, what's going to be happening there, because gaming season is about to begin. And there's a couple of things, October to December, this is typically the months that you see traditionally when most video games and companies release all their big titles, all of that. Remember, you have Pudgy Party launching here this week, and I think we're going to see a lot more happening, as well as 2 other key devices that will be launching, and that is the Seeker, and then you've got the Sweet Play device. So this is all playing into Web3. There's some opportunities here, and ones to watch that I want you guys to keep a lock on is this one right here, Speed. This is the Speed token, Speed Inc., the game. This is on the AVAX ecosystem. Further into that, we'll show you a few things about this just to give you an example. This is a very low market cap, so just be aware of that. It is going to be more of a Hail Mary low cap play, but it is tied to everything from Super Meat Boy, their 3D release hype that's happening, and then of course you've got Arena tied into this as well. Arena, one of the biggest social platforms out there, the biggest social platform out there on Avalanche. That will, I think, will also play into this as well. All right, so remember, Sweet Play launching also this fall, Seekers launching. All these things are going to be landing in on these devices, which would be perfect for that kind of game. So it could be one of those breakout, and again, it's more of a Hail Mary concept when you look at the gaming ecosystem as well. Remember this one thing, and that is all of this comes to fruit if we see the market structure. And 112 crypto companies now are urging the Senate to protect developers in the market structure bill. We've got everything out there, including Coinbase, Kraken, Ripple. Everybody's after this, including A16Z. And this, I think, could be huge if this happens before we see gaming season occur, which is happening just in a few months. So this is a big one. And there has been rumors coming out of DC that this might happen in as early as October. So we are nearing a potential market structure going forward. So you guys stick around on all of that. All right, so let me go over to our portfolio and we'll show you kind of how the performance was in the first phase. The first phase of the portfolio, these were back on the July 11th purchase. Max gains on each one of these. This was the Polygon token, Jupiter, Helium, Anime, Game, Bluefin, Atlas, Star Atlas, Byte, which is the AI agent over on Coinbase, and then HitDex. HitDex was the winner. Of course, Game Token was our loser. And then we had several in here that were up quite a bit, days to reach their high, whether or not we would keep them or not. So you guys take a screenshot and kind of take a look at this. And remember, the strategy again on this is pick one or two winners for you that match up with what you guys are doing. And then you kind of have to really keep close eyes on these because they're going to move quickly. And when the market starts to move, that's the position you have to make a decision on whether or not you want to exit or not. Right now, we're hanging in on this one right here. And of course, these are our buys currently on Solana. We just think that's going to continue to climb. Polygon is just in the right place at the right time. PENGU, we think, is also going to continue to move. Optimism, Flow, Mythos. Then you get into MAMO, virtual. You could play either one of those. ZARD and DPIN, and then rounding out the Hail Mary on speed. Holding on ZARD, though, right now, because there's a couple of key things there with ZARD token that is interesting. So if you start to research that one, you'll start to discover a little bit more about that. Also, you could also stake. You can also park this in some of these in vaults. So you're going to continue to earn opportunities there as well. Hopefully this will give you guys some insights on these Degen portfolios, which are a lot more, I know it's a lot more technical, and don't try to go in on all of these. What you want to do is just find something that works for you guys, feather it into your portfolio, try it that way. Maybe it works out for you guys. Not financial advice, but it's interesting because this technology is all coming to a head at once, and I think crypto market is going to be absolutely on fire over the next few years. All right, guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. We have a brand new website out there, paulbaronnetwork.com. It's the same place it's always been, but it's V2. We've launched a lot of new features. You'll find those over in the Diamond Circle, including additional research, more sentiment data, a lot more tools. We have an index in there now, a lot more cool assets to keep track of, and of course, follow me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Paul Barron Show.